Mr. Anup Majumdar for his presentation on technical bid evaluations, which is the key to project success. Requesting Mr. Anup Majumdar to please join us on the stage.
In terms of maintaining the schedule of the execution, and definitely cost is associated with that. Depending upon the type of the plant, from my experience, the procurement of equipment, whether it is mechanical, electrical or instrumentation, items and all these things, can be anything between 30% to 80%. So it is a huge amount of money. More importantly, that procurement process is a long process. It starts from even before the bidding, it starts from the pre-qualification. If you are in oil and gas industry, anybody worked in that industry before or now, you will find that they are highly regulated industry, and pre-qualification is also equally important to select the type of bidders and the bidders. But in our mining industry, we are not so stringent. So most of the time I have seen that pre-qualification stage is kind of skipped. And the success of procurement, since it is lengthy process from bidding up to the point of arrival of your equipment at site, it continues. And if you consider this thing as a garland, so if you are missing any bead in that garland, so there is no more garland. And people need to understand, when say people, I say client, engineering consultant, and the vendors need to work together to make it a success. Since it is lengthy process, I will go through certain things. And procurement process, the bid evaluation is very important for us and for the client also, because there are many equipment, same equipment, different vendors. We need to figure it out that which equipment will be the most suitable for that particular application. And that application, most probably, bidder most probably not aware fully. Being a process designer, we know what is the requirement and how this thing. So now I start my presentation. There are so many phases of procurement, but today I will concentrate on technical bid evaluation. If I discuss the entire procurement process, it will be a lengthy discussion, maybe for a couple of hours. And I also expect that there will be a lot of questions from the vendor side on my presentation, and I will be happy to answer these things. Half an hour time is allotted for me, and if I can finish this thing long before that, maybe say 20 minutes, definitely you are free to ask me any question after that. Technical bid evaluation process need to have a great understanding between the client and their engineering consultants and the bidders. What is technical bid evaluation? What do we see in technical bid evaluation? Technical bid evaluation is an evaluation, an examination process of the bidders or subcontractors' technical proposal for procuring equipment, item or service. Means that technical bid evaluation could be for equipment supplier, technical evaluation could be for fabricators, technical evaluation could be for contractors. So all are part of technical evaluation in different form. The TBE process assesses the following. What we assess, if you should have clear understanding so that you can respond accordingly during your bidding or proposal, so that you become a successful bidder, means that you become vendor. Number one, technical capability, including quality and experience of the bidder. Number two, compliance with the specifications. Number three, operating cost of the plant. Some people, they think that if I give a cheaper equipment, most probably my offer will be attractive. Apparently it looks like that, but personally when I do the evaluation, I consider the plant life. So life cycle cost of equipment, right? Performance penalties to meet the project requirement and execution capability. That I'll come little bit later. How is it important for client? And again, it related to the life cycle cost of the plant. So what are the basis of technical evaluation? Means that I should have a benchmark for technical bid evaluation by which every bidders can comply with, so that I can make a level playing ground for all the bidders. Number one is material requisition. Number two is technical specification of the equipment or item. Number three is equipment data sheet. And number four, sometime it happens, drawings associated with the package, if there is any. Most of the cases, major capital equipment, it doesn't, but certain cases, for example, chokes. I would like to give you a drawing along with that to bid, right, what I'm expecting. Then pre-bid queries from the bidders. What is that things? Very interesting. That is another thing mining industry so far didn't introduce or apply that much, but I prefer that. Means that whenever client is floating a RFP, bidder must go through each and every document meticulously, line by line, and if they have any concern about any statement, any clause, or if they find that one clause, one statement is telling something in material requisition, but different thing in technical specification, the bidder should have the right to ask the client for clarification. But I have also seen that some bidders knowingly, they don't ask. You know the reason? The reason is that pre-bid queries from the bidders, any answer to that pre-bid queries, we make a chart or table, and all our answers goes to every bidders. Means that, again, we want to be biasless, and we want to have a level playing ground for all the bidders. We do not have any preference. You may have many names at bidder list, but for me it is bidders A, bidders B, bidders C, and everybody is same to me. And post-bid technical queries, that post-bid technical queries I will come into detailed discussion, little bit more relevant discussion. It is once you submit your bid, then we will go through your bid in very detail. And if we find something missing there, we'll generate the technical queries for each and every bidder, and that technical queries will be different from each bidder depending upon their proposal. May not be same. In that case, I found from my experience, some bidders, they really follow the things and they do the things. Naturally, the TQ list for them is smaller. And the bidders who feels that, okay, I'll give this thing after getting the project, you are losing one round. You have to understand, neither the client nor their engineering consultant is your competitor. What they want, right? Think positive way. What they want a knowledge-based procurement of their equipment to ensure the performance of their plant. So that is the main intention of the client and their engineering consultant, to ask for certain information which is mandatory for them to take the decision. And if you are not providing them that decision at that stage, so basically you are actually lagging behind in the race. Mind it. Expectation from bidders in their technical proposal. The client and their engineering consultant expect the following in the bidder's technical proposal. bidder must go through all the RFQ, RFP package documents in detail. Because you may read whole document but miss you one sentence. And that most probably the killer for you if you miss that. Mind it. So go very meticulously in that detail. Bidder must submit all the documents that are requested with their proposal. Many bidder told me in the past, even now, I will submit the GA drawing of the equipment after getting the project. Fine, no problem. If you see in the specification or material requisition, when we say general alignment drawing along with the proposal, I am not asking you that project specific general alignment of the equipment. What I am asking you, if you previously, I said typical, means that previously you supplied that kind of equipment, so give us that thing. Your project specific general alignment drawing and data will be asked after you get the order. What is the reason for that? For example, say you are taking care of a plant, rose plant, right? So you are very particular about that plant. That plant is your equipment. Fine. But I am the owner of the garden. I am sitting on the second floor in the lobby and watching the garden. So you see the rose plant, I see the entire garden. And I can see how I can aesthetically improve the beauty of the garden. Means that if I get your GA drawing, I cannot hold entire time of procurement process for order to move forward with my structural engineering and civil engineering. So I have to move parallelly, otherwise client will not be able to maintain their project schedule. And definitely if he cannot maintain the project schedule, it will cost them more money. So I have some intention, as I said, that everything take in a positive way, because we are not your competitor, we are not going to do anything negative to you. We are trying to do our project the way it should be with the help of you. And your chance of getting or winning that bid is equal with other bidders. We are not preferring anybody. We are not involved in commercial negotiation. Certain time we involved in contractual things. We advise our client. I'll come to that point little bit later. Bidders may ask for clarifications on any RFP, RFQ package documents. However, all the questions and the answer will be shared with all the bidders. It is for pre-qualification, as I mentioned, because we believe that everybody has the right to get the same treatment. Bidder must include all deviation exceptions in a separate section in the proposal. This is a very funny thing. Why? If you don't submit the exception and deviation list, then what I will understand? I will understand that you are in 100% compliance with the material requisition and specification. When, okay, good, very good, 100% compliance, but what the commercial negotiation will start, client will come back to me, you will never know. But the thing is that then you will say, no, I will not give this thing. What will happen then? Number thing, time will increase, process will be delayed. Number two, it will affect your price. Though I don't know your price, but I know it will affect your price. Everything costs money and time. So very careful. If you are not listing your deviation and exception, we'll consider this you are 100% compliance, even if it is a matter of nut and bolt. Okay? Now, in exception and deviation, the best way to do that, you list the section or clause number of that document, you state the description, and you tell that what exception or deviation you want, and the best bidders or wise bidders, they also write what is the reason for non-compliance. I'm telling you one example. One engineering company for one water application, they specified a pump of API 610. Being an engineer, I know that for application, that API 610 pump is overkilling. It is not required, but it is already released by some engineering consultant. I don't know why. So, couple of bidders came to me, oh, do you need API 610? I talked to client, I said, no, we don't need. Notify every bidders, they can also offer ISO pump, not API 610 pump, right? If you are not writing that thing in exception or deviation, I would consider you will supply me API 610. So what will happen? You can understand what will happen because API 610 is more stringent pump specification than ISO pumps. So these type of things you have to be very careful. You have to, when you are doing certain things, you have to sit down, who is going to look after this proposal and how he is going to react based on whatever you proposed. Post-bid technical queries. It is a kind of one of the most painful chapter of procurement process. In any equipment, the number of bidders I have seen so far in project in India, at least 5-6 bidders. Now you can think about that. These 5-6 bidders, if I have to write TQ for every bidders and every TQ is different from the other, then I have to wait for you when you are going to reply, Then after receiving the TQ reply, I found that some of the questions are not answered. Even if it is answered, it is not answered properly, right? I still remember, I asked one fellow 3 times, you know, in pump, in a particular pump configuration, centrifugal pump, the best efficiency point is fixed. Particular impeller design, particular this thing. If you change the RPM, even with VFD, BEP is not going to change. What is going to change? Your operating point is going to change. So it may be closer to BEP, become closer to BEP or far away from BEP. Every time I ask that bidder about that, he is giving the BEP flow. Man, I don't care about that BEP flow. I can find out from your these things. So this kind of misunderstanding always goes on. Result is lengthening the TQ process. So that's why at the start of the project, we always say we consider this many bidders and per bidders will consider 2 TQ cycle. So you have to be very careful. If you are not completing this TQ cycle within 2 cycles, you are in a problem, right? Incomplete proposal from the bidders delay the procurement process and award of the purchase order, affecting the project schedule and or cost. I already explained it. The client may restrict the number of TQ cycles to maintain the project schedule. The bidders must answer all the question and clarification and provide missing information within the 2 TQ cycles. Any unanswered question and incomplete or confusing answers to the clarification may be considered as a non-responsive or technically non-compliant. I have to be strict some point, otherwise it will go forever. Some examples I want to discuss with you. Submitting a bid only filling up the client's data sheet and or offered equipment based on misinterpretation or misinterpretation of the data sheet. If you are thinking, I am coming to you to buy a consumer product, you are wrong. client is paying say $1 million for your equipment and you just ignored every document and you saw the data sheet and fill up the data sheet, you feel that you are done, then you are wrong. What I understand, my understand is that you are not serious in the business, period. Number 2 point is that sometimes people, they didn't go even in detail in the data sheet, and when they fill up the data sheet, they find that they misunderstood the data sheet. I am giving you an example. In process data, I gave 2000 meter cube per hour, this pump system will run. And I said, we need 2 pumps, right? When the data came, the proposal came, they offered me a pump of 2000 meter cube per hour. So what does it mean to me? I don't see you, I don't know you, I don't know how you work. I understand that you didn't notice the data sheet at all. Your pump should be 1000 meter cube per hour per pump. So now if you are complaining to this thing, your bid is not considered, you are responsible for that, not me. And I am expecting that kind of little bit kind of a attention to the information that client is providing you, right? There is no indication of the full scope of work. Many other services could be required per MR and TS, which are integral parts of the equipment supply. So whenever there are equipment supply, we will ask you many things. We will ask you your documents, drawings. We will ask you your quality plan. We will ask you inspection and test plan. We will ask you spare parts. We will ask many, many things. Your equipment supply, it is not I am buying a soap or shampoo from the shop, right? So that is very important thing people need to understand. So we need to see in a scope of work, and against the scope of work, we also told that exception deviation. So client has clear picture, what are they getting, right? Missing deviation, exception, exclusion details. If nothing is required, the bidder should mention the same in a statement. In absence of this, the client may have the impression that the bid fully complies with the requirements of the RFP package. So, if we can resolve at this stage, then we need not to fight later on with client's procurement department during contractual and commercial negotiation. Then again, we have to start from zero, right? Non-submission of inspection test plan and or quality assurance program and or performance guarantee data during bidding. It is a major thing. The reason is that I have experience. Nowadays, I found that many bidders give us single document. They tell us that it is a QAP as well as ITP. But if you know the engineering process, QAP is not the ITP, okay? QAP is ensuring how you are maintaining the quality of your product from raw material procurement to assembly, to inspection, to testing, everything. And test plan is telling you only the test portion only. Now, many bidders, they supplied QAS, which is different from QAP. QAP is Quality Assurance Program. QA is Quality Assurance System. Quality Assurance System belongs to company major backbone of the quality system. If any company went through the ISO 9001 certification, they must know what is QA system. If you supply me your certification of ISO 9001, I am fully aware what kind of QS that should be. But QAP is always product dependent. Palm QAP may not be same with agitator QAP, or agitator QAP may not be same with PD pump. PD pump may not be same with centrifugal pump. It is depending upon the type of pump. It is depending upon the severity of application. So people need to understand the difference between QS, QAP and QAP versus ITP. Why I need this right this moment? Again, I don't need this thing project specific QAP. I need a typical QAP. The reason is that, as I said, everything costs money and time. As a result, what is happening, if I don't know what type of QAP maintaining, and depending upon the criticality of the equipment, which is a different subject, I can talk an hour about that, we know what type of QAP is expected for more critical equipment and less critical equipment of the plant. So if I don't have QAP, if I say later on to you, you have to have a SGS or third party inspection or maintaining the review of this thing, you will say, oh, that will cost me money and time. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I know, yes, it is. Though I am not in commercial negotiation, I know client and myself, I don't want to see any surprise after issuing the purchase order. And you know, change of management takes long time. Project people knows. It takes a lot of time to convince their own people, to get the approval, to go to the procurement. Procurement will ask 10, 20 questions. Why? I don't want that thing. I want to fight with you before you give you the order, but handshake after giving the order and have my sleep without any nightmare. So this is the importance. I am not asking project specific. You develop it later on when you get the order. I am not asking you to spend your engineer's time for me without knowing that you are getting the order. But it is my right to ensure the product I will be getting from you, I will be getting from you up to the standard we are expecting or client is expecting. And for you, it could be a equipment sale. For me, for the client, they have to run that plant for 30 years. So it greatly affects your performance of the plant and production itself. And that's the thing. For another thing, spare parts, I need to know. I am taking a $5 equipment from you. Later on, I am spending $250 during the life. Rather than I will pay $25 to an equipment manufacturer and I will do the maintenance by $50. So for me, life cycle cost is important because I have to see the interest of the client and their investment and return of money. So submitting the company's quality assurance system instead of QAP, I said that it is a very funny thing. So if any bidders talk to their engineering department, particularly QAS, you can talk to your engineering department. They will clearly tell you what is the difference between QAS and QAP and what is applicable for what. If you are going for pre-qualification, which is most 100% applicable for oil and gas industry, you add your QS system in pre-qualification to let your client know your standard as per ISO 9001 and you maintain the standard so client can rely on your product. Thank you very much. And if I am allowed, can I take question or somebody else will do presentation? I am expecting a lot of questions from vendors. No problem. Anything you can ask me. Yes, please.
During the proposal exercise, EO is allocated. After that, he is starting the drama. There no, this is not available, that is not available. If you want this, I will not give you a guarantee, I will not do that. How to handle it and how often you come across such situations. For me, it happens very rarely, but it happens.
Many cases it happens. Not really. Many cases it happens. You see, everybody is nodding. Okay? I'm telling you frankly. Go back to your engineering consultant. Okay?
No, but the PO is already issued. What can you do?
That is the problem with client. We are not interested the commercial negotiation of purchase of equipment, but we are expecting that client's project department through procurement department, through project department, keep continuous communication with consultant.
No. I interrupt. Okay. Pre-bid evaluation, no exception deletion was submitted. Discussions happened, they agreed to everything, whatever you were given in your TS and everything. Right. After the PO is allocated, you start detail engineering, you get the drawing and other things.
If you want to say it legally or contractually, if you want to go to court, I would say that any discussion between the bidders, prospective bidders and you keep a note. Get it signed by you and the bidders. And if they are not asking anything, you just additionally take little bit pen and say one right statement that since you didn't ask for any deviation, exclusion, exception, please confirm that you are in 100% compliance to my RFP package. If they say yes, keep that record.
It is already there, they signed the TS. Okay. I mean, pre-bid evaluation, everything has happened just like it happens with anyone else. By chance or whatever, I mean, the PO gets awarded and later on this happens. Now, this happens at a time not on the first day of the evaluation, it may be something in the middle of things where you are into a position that is already a state of project. You cannot abandon that builder. You cannot say, what else to the PO, I want to go to someone else, I started again. You cannot do it.
You want my straight but rude answer?
No, that is fine. I mean, my question is how to handle this situation.
Very difficult. Very difficult. End of the day, money talks.
See, money is not an issue. It is
Time is issue.
it is
Your
a-
project schedule is issue.
Yeah, for me the project schedule is issue.
I
For
know
me-
certain vendors sometimes they play that things,
For me,
but
the technical delivery is
yeah. So that's why I said in the beginning that to all vendors, be please meticulous, because everybody knows there is no free lunch in the world. So if you are giving some additional service or something, normally you don't do, it costs money. You understand, client understand, engineering consultant understand. Be frank with them. Don't try to play that things which might create the project. I'm telling you, if I am the project owner, I will digest that thing, I will find that thing's alternative way to figure it out by myself or by some learned people. But the thing is that I will put a red mark on you against you for my next project. Period.
That's okay. For the next one, it is a lesson learned.
Yeah.
But on to that situation,
It is very difficult. I don't know why people do that thing. I always take the things in positive way. My presentation was before lunch, but lunch was late. So I said, okay, we'll take lunch. So it is delayed, negative way, positive way. I see that you have the lunch. You are in kind of a full of tummy. You are listening to me. Before lunch, you will be hungry. It will not go to brain. My brain doesn't work when I'm hungry. So I would say that good things always prevail in the world. The reason is that otherwise we don't see that world is moving forward. But reality is world is moving forward.
that's true. I mean, there are vendors who will come up with a very genuine list. These are the exceptions, these are the reasons, these are not there in my portfolio, whatever.
Yeah.
But there are
Yeah.
people who don't give
Yeah.
any exceptions. So I say this is my
Yeah. The main reason for that is that they did not consider that cost in their proposal. Most probably it is not deliberately. They miss that things. Now they think that if they wanted to do that, they most probably will give you. But they should be open. I didn't consider this cost, I need this extra money. Okay? You will, look, by the situation you will understand if I talk to the people, I understand from where are they coming, right? So if you see, people can make mistake. If you can see that the reason is genuine and honest, then you will also be eager to pay, okay, keep it minimum, how much do you want, what is the issues, let me know, let us solve the problem as that. As I said, engineering consultant, client and vendor should be working as one team to execute the project. It is not client project, it is not vendor project, it is not engineering consultant project, it is not owner project. It is the plant. That plant is supposed to run for 30 years. And if you are giving a good product and it runs for 30 years, no problem, you will get second order today, tomorrow 2 orders. So, you know, credential is such a thing, it takes long time to get. It is very easy, it takes seconds to lose it. Thank you very much. Any other question? Yes, sir.
Sir, with all due respect to your experience,
Yes.
you know that technical specification, wish to wish, execution agency, contractors, and environment of work, it is different in different country.
Different countries, even same country, different companies.
Sir, let me complete. I hope that you had worked all around the world.
Yes, I do.
And I'm not having any doubt on your credentials for India. I am also working in a project which is a mix of steel plant, chemical plant and petrochemical plant.
Okay.
Owners, engineers who had taken money in 4-digit crores, he had prepared a GES, General Engineering Specification, of 1,000 pages. Okay? Now when organization is floating the inquiry, this Indian vendors who have to do erection and commissioning and this thing, 50% vendors are telling, I'm not having time to read 1,000-page GES. Okay? Because few are telling, your GES is full for the conditions which is applicable for petrochemicals. And you are giving me quotation for the chemical plant. Metallurgical is telling that what I will do with the chemical plant GES. Sir, this is India, in a place like Kutch, where water is not there. Mobilizing the resources for a contractor is challenging issue. So, situation is different in different country. Methodology, investment in India, the investor is having a mind how much less cost and how much less time, because bankers are there. Okay, we don't have that much of time to say yes or no. We are hunting for the vendors. We are not getting vendors. When we were making the technical specification by ourselves, because we were making it in the collaboration of engineering providers, experience of contractors, good contracting agencies, then it was user friendly. I am not telling that everything was wrong there, and it will be not 100% wrong. A specialist can give 100% perfection, that is also not guaranteed. There will be also some error of mistake. So what he is telling, try to understand from that point of view. He is telling slurry pipeline, where in India it is getting executed, in Barbil area, in Paradeep area, where people are getting scared to go, and we have to execute the project. So my humble submission is, since you are coming, I am expecting that flow dynamics is coming as a great opportunity in India, to whom we can say that it is a company with whom we can get all the solution at one shop, and we can recognize that it will be Make in India type of project. So my humble request is, when you are now starting the company, please meet good contractors of India, good vendors, and judge what is their expectation in the specification, in the technical specification, and customize your things for our country. Then it will be very easy for the client to get the good vendor. It will be very easy for you to examine the things. But if we are going to give a technical specification which is applicable in Europe and America, taking one Bible as a standard of the flow dynamics, it is not going to work. So it is my request and advice that since we are here to improve the thing, please acknowledge his point. Okay? Thank you, sir.
I appreciate your few points. It is a few section of this answer. Number one section, fluid dynamics is guaranteeing that they will not issue any technical documents for not only to the procurement related, any other documents which will not be for slurry application, which will be for petrochemicals. We know our subject very well, and we understand the difference between even chemical and petrochemical. So we are very much meticulous about that. Our specification is just applicable to that particular application. Most probably you saw that I told that one consultant issue for water application API 610 pumps. What does it mean? Means that we caught that when we got the job, that API 610 pump in that application is overkilling. So we rectified that, we gave that things back to the bidder so that they are qualified to do that things. So that is from FD side, it is guarantees there. Number two, that after this thing symposium, most probably we will continue this thing. We always tell vendor that you are always feel free to contact us for technical presentation and all these things. We will get our time to sit down with you to know about your product, what you do, how do you do. Only thing we tell them not to do, if you are bidding in a project and we are involved in that project, never contact us without letting the client know about it. If you need to contact us, go through the client. The reason is that we want to be fair with every bidder, we want to be fair with client, so we don't entertain you until client is not aware of that. And so far clients are very cooperative in that respect. But bidders' doors, vendor doors are very much open, and we will be available to discuss with you, but it is sometimes difficult for us to go unsolicitedly to the vendors, not bidders, vendors, to go, okay, what do you do, what is that thing, like that. And regarding the thing is that we are not doing any kind of equipment for which there will be 1,000 package of RFP, except piping erection package, right, and structural construction package, fabrication package. Even that thing, that 1,000 pages also in piping erection pages, most probably you will find 700 documents are the isometric drawings. Okay? We cannot get away with that. If I don't give you with that, without this thing to package, you will say this document is missing, I didn't know, it is not included in my scope. So what can I do? But that is the nature of the project. A piping isometrics in a petrochemical project, maybe 10,000, 20,000. I have to include it. So that is different issue. For the equipment is that our specification, I have not seen any specification in slurry handling system and pipeline system having even 50 pages. Okay? And if somebody is so busy for not able to read that 50 package for coating, you can say a lot of things, but I can see that they are busy with something else, they are not so serious. Okay? Anybody else?
Thank you, sir. My
But
Crisp.
one thing I guarantee you, flow dynamics will
my-
customize
my-
everything
my
for your
crisp-
application.
My crisp point was a request to you,
Yeah.
not the pinning point of someone others, that try to make technical specifications suiting to Indian's contractor.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Always we do. We use the structural code belongs to India. We use our design code for structural design and this thing for IS. Everything we do, we know. And we study a lot, different standards, this thing. So no problem is that. Even we consider, I am telling you, ISO 9006 is pump performance, these things. We use sometime equivalent to the IS standard for that. Performance this thing. Because some Indian vendor may come to us that, oh, can I use this IS standard? We do that thing all the time. That is from guarantee from FD side. That's not a problem.
What is the meaning
Yes.
of no deviation bid? Definitely deviation and clarifications of the vendors should be there.
Yes,
That
yes.
some bids are coming with no deviations. That means it's going to be one-sided one-sided inquiry or this. How it going to be taken that?
Look, we are expecting deviations. All the products are not same. And whenever somebody write an specification and requirement, it is not possible to consider all the bidders, but it is possible to understand or to point out our requirements, particular requirements. Taking deviation is not a penalty for a bidder. Okay? The reason is that deviation is that we need to understand where you are deviating, what we do with the deviation. We positively think about your deviation, whether it is critical or not for procuring your equipment. If it is not, we approve that deviation. But
That bid itself calls, if you take any deviation, it's liable to reject. Why that line to be there? Because all the vendors cannot make the same type of equipment. Definitely there will be the design considerations will be there. So when the line is there, what is it meaning? How it going to be taken?
okay, okay. The thing is that there are 5 bidders. I have one requirement. Out of that 5 bidders, 2 bidders exactly complied with the requirement. 3 bidders, they took the deviation of that requirement. If you are in chair, you will go with the bidders who complied 100%. Got your answer?
So otherwise I can look at the deviations. If deviations are not very critical, I can approve that proposal also. I can mark 100% compliant T1 resistive to specification.
T3. It happens, I am telling you what is happening, though we are not involved in commercial negotiation with the vendors. We do not want to be, but sometime client come back to us. Anup, you see, these guys took this deviation and this guy didn't, but you see the result in commerce, what do you say? Can we accept that things? Then based on the situation and performance and criticality, we said you can go ahead. That is unofficially, but we don't interfere into commercial negotiation. That is our policy.
Okay, I think any more questions, have it during drinks in the evening. Otherwise, we'll be here for...
Anytime, not only evening, you can take my card from Sushila and all these things. Anytime, please feel free to, believe me, we are here to help you guys. We want to go together to make this industry move forward. Okay, only thing is that there is some misunderstanding. That's why you may feel that, oh, you are neglected. It is not like that. It is not like that, believe me. Okay? Thank you very much.